Hi, so I am going to begin the reading on Chris Cornell. This is more kind of mediumistic, intuition and the cards, of course. But he has been coming into my sphere in a certain way that I now know means that I'm meant to read on, to look deeper at, and look into, to read on. So I recognize that, and I put off publicly reading on his case for a long time for a lot of reasons. There are a lot of people that feel, for one thing, of course, very passionately about his death. And there's a lot of ideas, some of them I think ranging from completely bonkers to actually, even though you might not think it sounds within the realm of possibility, I think there are certain things that are. So, with all that cryptic talk, I'm just going to shuffle, and I put a lot of thought into this, and I've just reached out to Chris and his spirit and just saying, look, with the controversy around his death, and especially some people really do not like his wife. Other people totally are with her. But anyhow, we're just going to allow him to tell us what he wants to talk about, what he wants to bring up. I just gonna let him, decide. So I'm giving these a good shuffle. And it's funny, I'm more reluctant, I feel like, now than he is. Now he's kind of like, yeah, come on, hey, me first, yeah, don't forget. But I know now to pay attention to that. There's a certain quality to that feeling. So I ask the Most High to assist and to help me to relate accurately and clearly not only what Chris Cornell wishes to relate, but in all my readings I wish to read accurately and clearly, and I give thanks to the Creator and to my spiritual mentors. And with that, I ask to be assisted to connect and to relate Chris Cornell's message that he wishes to impart, and I will do my very best at this time to try and relate that accurately for him and you guys, the viewers. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to throw the cards in the Celtic cross kind of manner. It's just a feeling I have to do, so I'm following that. Okay, well, the Hangman first off. I do get that a lot when there's suicides. And I do get, and it is not lost upon me, the fact that he did pass from hanging. So, he did pass from hanging. But let's just take a look at this. So right now, boom, right out the gates, I feel, and I know that when I get this card with regards to cases where people have been found to have committed suicide or been suicided, I get this card. And it, for me, is just saying, you're tracking, want to talk about the hanging. So he's wanting to address that. Also, traditionally, just a note, the hanged one, as it says on this card, this is the Star Tarot, by the way. I love this deck. You can find it on Amazon. But it's a surrender. It can be also a different look is required. And it might be, we'll know more about the other cards, that this is saying we need to have a different way that we're looking at this by and large. But as again, it's just amazing to get that card first out the gate. The tarot is just an incredible tool. See what he wants to say about it. What is crossing him is independence. I feel like one's own efforts that have built a success. I think he was having a hard time enjoying the fruits of his work. This falls in a challenging position, and it is a very much career success, financial independence, doing well. But this isn't the cross position. And what we've got this, the Hanged One card. Let's just put it like that for a minute. I'm getting a lot, you guys, but it's like being sent something on fiber optics when you're running an analog brain. You're trying to, hey, I have love for analog, I always will, but there's a little delay time. And I was getting some real vibe off of this. He's talking about this is again in the place of challenge, a different way of looking at, needing to look at. I feel like there were issues going on with finances and his career and the amount of work he was doing. And I think there was some, I don't know, something between he and the wife there. She's a pretty dramatic, dynamic woman. I find her personally a bit too much. I've heard about her losing her temper on aircraft and where she went to swipe or something, and it ended up accidentally swiping into this woman and or hitting her with a pillow, or I don't know, something she was having a tantrum with, you know. It's not nice, but I read about that, and there's some other bits and pieces here and there about his wife, Vicky, her behavior that was always red flagged. I always thought that's a hot mess that he's got dealing with there. And I just kind of always left it at that. I never thought too much more about it, but I do know that is an incident, and it sounds like she's a lot extra, in my opinion. But getting back, from my opinion, to these cards, they are definitely talking about taking another look at what success means, and about what creating a life that you can enjoy is about. Because the Nine of Pentacles is that success of creating a life that you can enjoy. And by a great deal of your own sweat, blood, and tears, you know, and certainly help along the way, but it's like you're willing to do the work and you've made a success. What I'm feeling like when I cross that energy with that Hanged One card, this was the issue that put him over the edge into whatever you might believe at this point as something he either did voluntarily or had done to him. I'm just putting out the basic theories out there that some people have. But what I get is, every time I've looked at his cards off camera, is the aspect of his career and money and his reputation, and there being an issue with it between he and his wife. And let's just see what these cards want to say. I also feel like he was really tired. I've seen him live, and he, in that footage, did not look anything like the man that I saw back in 2010 in San Francisco with the Soundgarden. I did not, see him. He looked fabulous. He looked very haggard, I have to say, which makes me sad. But it looks to me like he had been working too much and not getting enough rest. And he seemed agitated in the footage too. Like that was crisp and wound up. There was something that was not sitting well with him. And that tweet he put, no more bullshit, definitely believe it's connected to the stress that he was experiencing. And I think it didn't just begin once he got on stage. I do think this was something that had been transpiring and building up for a while, and I think he, reached obviously a point of where he had a different perspective about his career and about his earnings and about his well-being. That too. There's a lot coming in, even just with 2 cards. There's secrets, guys, that we don't know about. And this is based on the High Priestess card at the basis of this reading. And there are secrets around the suicide. Okay? And that we don't think, details we don't know about this hanging. It's saying there's stuff, hold off, because there's details you're missing that aren't widely known or that haven't kept secret. And what crowns him is the King of Wands. Well, now this brings an interesting point. And one of the things I noticed, and I did mean to initiate with this video, was a little background information. I think I can go ahead and do that here. Not see that one card, yeah. Sorry about that. Anyways, so one of the interesting things about Chris Cornell's astrological chart, and they don't have the time from the one that I looked at. It was Astro Theme or whatever. But it showed that he had actually, though he is a Cancer and has a birthday of July 20th, 1964, he had a tremendous amount of fire in his overall chart. Perhaps a bit more, even just a bit more than the water. And so his primary astrological makeup, of course, would be the Cancer Sun. He had his moon in Sagittarius. I forget what was in Gemini. Maybe Ascendant or something. And definitely had, Gemini was in Mars, I think, or Venus. I may not have that one quite right. I know there was one thing I miswrote, but whatever the case is, I made note that there was mostly a water chart, but it had a great deal of, fire. And there was another thing. His Saturn is retrograde or reversed, and it was in Pisces. So one of the notes I didn't, had to share with you was that from the site, and I will include it in the description box, was quote-unquote partnerships need to be handled with care because they can start exhilarating but end up in disenchantment and bitterness. And it just reminded me of what I feel like may have been going on between him and his wife. Okay, and he was born Christopher John Boyle. He did not have a great deal of good feelings toward his father. I think he felt that his dad was abusive in his own way, from what I read, and not really present in a healthy way in their lives. So I think he got to a point where he just chose to, I think, out of, unfortunately, that dysfunctional relationship, to not use his father's surname. Okay, he's showing me the Hermit and the High Priestess. And the King of Wands and the Emperor here. Now, this is totally about his work. And this is him on the road, too, I get. Touring. But he was also at a point, I think, where he was looking for answers. Because he felt like, I think he felt like there was something being kept from him. I think his Cancer intuition also was drawing him to have a closer look at something here. So, the Emperor, to me, is Chris. You know, and this is his professionalism. He was over 50, and, you know, early 50s. I think he was about my age. I'm gonna be 53, but I think he was about 52. And this, again, it feels very much like the legacy, his career and finance and well-being and on tour. And there may have been something that was being kept from him. Definitely something was a secret, and I don't think he took well. I think he was looking here, definitely, as a result of, I think, his spidey senses tingling. Now, a lot of people have said that there were some issues with the charity that he and Vicky set up. He really left, from what I understand, those things to Vicky, and I think that may have been part of not being so good for him in the end. Because very often with artists, they'll look to a partner that kind of has that balance, but the problem is, once those people are involved, they tend to be people that take control. We've seen the dynamic before again and again, and I just feel like, from what I've seen in the past, that's what was going on. Let's see what Chris wants to say. Yes, there were things not, again, there was deceit, and there were secrets, and he found out that there was something being kept from him. King of Pentacles. This is a King of Pentacles in his environment. This could be somebody that dealt with finance for him, or accounting. Or handles personal monies. Even like an income tax, I don't know. I feel like this is somebody that definitely is another professional. Maybe there was some paperwork or some contact that he found that made him curious, or made him feel like something wasn't right. And to do with, again, I feel like finances or monies, and I'm, just curious how that's going to play out. It also shows there's another man in the environment. So I'm not sure if this is his bodyguard, who is who at the time, who I wouldn't want to have had been mine. You just need to read up on that guy. He is feeling here with the hopes and fears that he's not feeling physically well. He's not mentally doing well either. Because I do see him kind of road weary, for sure. He's doing too much work there. But there's also the feeling of not being on the inside of a situation. And not feeling good about it mentally, emotionally, or physically. I think all those things are true for Chris at that time. He's giving me balance. He's giving me justice, a decision on a greater scale with the major arcana. And I will definitely have to clarify that. We have the Emperor here. This also could be somebody who's also, if it's not his own financial and career legacy and so on and so forth, and I really do feel like it is. But there was something secret. Now I need to look up if that former boyfriend of Heidi Klum, who ended up breaking up that, he's a real character. Like, again, I need to see if I can find his birth date, because I am getting the King of Wands, and if that isn't Chris's more fiery side and decide to take action and to investigate and to see what something was bothering him, I definitely think that was going on. But this could also might even say, or this King of Pentacles here was that guy. I'm going to really feel uncomfortable if he is either an earth sign or a fire sign. There's a great deal overspill of emotion here. He has a lot of feelings involved. And I feel like there was something maybe legally that he was concerned about. Because we've got the card of all those emotions and the Ten of Pentacles. Wow, okay. I'm just trying to pick up on, I think he could have been kind of worked up into agitation. There's deceit here. As somebody was not being honest with him. And so he went looking for answers. He may have talked to another professional, older male perhaps, maybe in charge or connected to right here. I'm thinking this could also may not just be about him, but this could be about somebody he spoke with as a result of some mystery, something he felt was not on the up and up. And it would be potentially somebody connected to finance. Maybe this is the bank. Who knows? But it would be good. I will be looking to see, and I should have written that down, what the bodyguard's birthday was. Page of Wands. This is definitely activity. Okay, it's fiery. He's angry, really angry. And the one thing that I've always pictured that night about him was that he was enraged. And I think with his wife. And to do with money. And I'm getting that feeling again. Again, I think he felt like this would ruin him, what she was doing. Going further to end something, to really end something. Activity that would have ended something. I think he's saying also to me that it would have been, he would have divorced her. Because there was something that was just too much. He would have I think he was feeling that that was the end of his marriage that night. Honestly. And very angry at her. And emotionally, mentally, very, I don't feel like he was lacking clarity. I feel like he was clear enough to know he was being deceived about something. So I don't think he was this hot mess. I think he was a hot mess that night because he was legitimately perturbed. But I think in a long time kind of coming, by the looks of this. Yeah, 8 of Pentacles. With the money. Over and over again. I think it's activity with finances that he didn't like. And that he thought were going to lead to, I think, potentially legal trouble. And I think that's why he got on, I think maybe, and talked to some financial specialist or was talking with a banker or the bank or something along these lines. There was some activity there he was not happy about. The Lovers. There was some exposure of his, something was clear to him about his relationship, his marriage, his partnership with her. And I feel like he felt like she had deceived him and hadn't been truthful about finances, something around finances. And I think he felt like it was really super damaging what she'd done. And he was super angry. And I think it was just clear to him. And maybe that where she, how careless she was with his hard work and his efforts. There's some, that's what I'm getting from him. So then there's the Ace of Pentacles. And the two, Pentacles again, and the Two of Swords, of pulling back, looking within, something not passing the something with the finances not being right. Some kind of activity, or there is a lack of something that should have been done, perhaps, with monies. These could be like even agreements that they had with their charities, etc. I just think she hadn't been honest with him in regards to something very big. This is her. She is a Leo. She likes to tell everybody that this is all the money, and having the family money. It's all about the money. And money, I think, for her family. And when I say her family, I don't mean in so much as Chris, but in so much more as her side of the family and her children. That's how I feel she perceives. Ten of Wands. This is putting, these are all tens she gets. To me, she put him at a maximum, I think, work level, at a maximum stress activity level. This is about his finances, and a great deal of it, and its family. I think this could be her mother, because they are like, whereas one, there is the other. I think these two were making his life overwhelmingly burdened. I'm shown that with the Ten of Wands. These two females. I'm getting activity again where rules, official rules, are concerned. Also, tradition. Maybe speaking to like cultural tradition. With her comes first, with her family. I'm not sure, but boy, look at that boom, the Tower, and the Queen of Swords. It's also marriage, the marriage issue. That was done. I really do feel it was. And I'm feeling that this sudden the end of that marriage I think just that just undid it for him that night. He's transitioned. And really wanting to get on, literally to establish existence in the other realms and get on. I'm just trying to figure out what happened here. I do feel like there was planning. I do think that somehow she's I'm feeling very schemy, and her and her mother. And I just feel like it was too much for that man. They may have pushed him to the, I think that he was definitely pushed to the point. I'm just not getting a real indication. Like, I'm not getting my moon card. There's deceit here. But I still feel like he may have gotten so angry with her. Definitely he was so angry with her to do with money. And he was talking to some other people. A couple other people. I think his bodyguard that she, I think, got for him. And probably bankering. People that handle their finances. I feel like there's something there. And he finds some depth. He really feels like this is deliberate. And he knows it's like deliberate sneakiness with their money. What is he showing you that? I feel like I'm not getting with that Knight of Swords. Okay, that's the loss of the marriage. I think the tradition, very quickly, anger. I don't know. Did he call somebody, or was he going to call somebody? I don't know if this would be a female that could be like a lawyer, or somebody like a divorce lawyer that he was going to be contacting. He may be suggesting that that could have been part of a conversation he was having, because I think there was some kind of definite concern that he saw that something was not honest, something was being kept from him, with that High Priestess and that Seven of Swords. And that set it off. He grieves for the loss of the wife he had and that situation. And I think he's aware that others do as well. This is the Bully card. And this is also a card where you could definitely have somebody that's willing to attack somebody that's more vulnerable. I think that theme fits Chris's life to a certain degree. But I think definitely this marriage with his wife was, and again, all of this is alleged for entertainment purposes only. But I think there was big problems in his marriage, and he came across something that was being hidden from him. And boy, I think he was weary of her, I think, riding him, to nagging him and at him. That there's definitely that feeling. But here I worry with the Five of Cups and the Five of Swords that somebody couldn't have been involved physically in helping him exit. If you get what I mean. Because, let me just see here more. I think this is part of Chris. Chris that's his fame, that's his hope, he has light. This is, to me, Chris, more in the receptive mode. He's opening up. I think he stayed, he's telling me, okay, now I'm getting more mediumistic hits. He's letting me know that he had to, on the other side, grieve the loss of his own life. And I don't still feel like I have a real 100% clarity that he didn't have some assistance, because I am shown that he is being pressured. And it did contribute to the hanging, whether he did it or somebody else helped him, quote unquote. There's suspicious behavior with the wife. I'm being shown that here with her. And it hurt him deeply. He felt like that was it. It was sudden, but it was like explosive. The one thing with this, as him, with the star though, I feel like he may not have intended to kill himself. He may have been, this might be him saying, I had hope still, despite the fact that this was an ugly situation I was coming across. And I'm feeling more that way. And I think his wife bullied him a lot. I do. I think he was tired of it bringing him down. And here, it shows me him, I feel like, as the Queen of Cups, in a receptive state of staying in the place of the star, though they're in the dark and they had hope. So that doesn't make me feel like he had lost all hope and would have done that to himself, perhaps. That's making me go now a little bit more toward the help out the door, so to speak. This shows me more than one person involved. And we are again given to financial aspects. And there's something going on. Yeah, Seven of Cups. I think this is somebody also, I feel like, giving him dosed drinks, maybe even up to 3. If you notice on this, now I know that they say his bodyguard, whatever, gave him a drink or whatever, but I think he could have been being dosed throughout the day. 1 drink, 2 drink, and then 3. I do. Because I got 2. I'm just getting that. And though this is the 7 and this is the 3, just visually what I'm getting, I do think, okay. I know that they said that he asked for medication, but I also believe that he was given something that where there's more than one person involved in his exit. No, I think he was helped. He endured a great deal. This indicates with strength. He really tried to make it work. But I feel that just the combinations of what was going on, the fact that the combinations perhaps of being dosed more than one time, and I forgot that I have picked that up on the past, and I'm seeing it here again. I don't think he was just given medicine once, and I don't think he was given it entirely aware. Okay? I think he was aware of maybe one dose, but then I think he was given more, and maybe some unasked for than what he wanted. Definitely. That's what we need to be aware of. There was mixtures of things that he tried to resist. But he was, look at it, he was struggling. And you know, one of the things I thought when I was looking at the footage, and I did look at it very closely, of his last performance, was he seemed like he was really struggling to get through some of the sets. Like he was in molasses, like he felt, frankly, I felt like, man, he seems like energetically there's something wrong. And it didn't feel right. And it didn't look right. And a lot of people said that. And I think he was struggling against the effects. And it was 10 of Swords overwhelming his, I feel like, mind, his brain activity. Because the swords, 10 of Swords, boom. I think he's been flooded by increments that build in his system. I believe he was dosed. I do not believe that he took all of what was in his system. I'm being shown something here. And he was left struggling against, physically, it feels like the effects. I can just feel it. He actually needed outside help. And wasn't feeling that good. Somebody may have even asked him, are you sure you don't need help? Or he may have been thinking, do I need help? Do I need to ask for outside help? I definitely think he thought this at some point. Yes, actually. He became aware at some point that he needed outside help. Probably once it was too late and he was in his room and things were happening and the effects were going on. King of Swords and the Three of Cups. Again, I feel like for somebody else, there's a sense of an accomplishment of something that, again, with those cups, that their dosing worked. I really feel like he was dosed, you guys. And I'm going to be so forward as to say, I think you can look to the bodyguard. I think he was set up to no good. Yep, here's the cover-up card. And the Ace of Swords. And that's saying that in a considerable time from now, I think the truth will come out about the cover-up of his death. But it looks further in time and feels like it's going to be years. But I do see that the cover-up comes undone. It has to do with the money movement. It could be shifting money to offshore accounts, or, you know, playing games with money overseas, taking high chances. And that's exactly it. I think she was doing stuff with their money that he didn't like. Okay. Ooh, it's at nearly an hour, you guys, so I'm going to just close out with this one. This is, again, them showing the Knight of Pentacles. This shows hard work. And I feel like with the Wheel of Fortune, the end of a cycle. So if this was the end of a cycle of financially, of work cycle, there may have been some taxes. I'm not sure. I just get financial details that were the catalyst and the work that he had been doing. And somebody took a very big risk in what they did with him, and they feel like they succeeded. Yeah, the Chariot and the Eight of Wands and their activity, they think they've won, but they haven't. Three of Swords, Princess of Cups, because there's going to be something that comes up later down the road that's a surprise. And I don't think that Vicky will be expecting it. Yeah. It has to do with the memories of a younger person. And knowing that they were physically actually being... somebody may relate an account of her being physically violent, is what I feel. And it being heartbreaking to them. I'm just hoping it's not one of... I get a feeling it could be one of the children, so I don't really want to go there, so I'll stop. And there's a great deal of anxiety then over the death. The Mother, Empress card, and the King of Cups. The King of Cups, that could be Chris, because he was a King of Cups. So I feel like there's a family member. I think one of their kids may later, as they get older, kind of discover something that's upsetting. And that's all I want to go with on that. And I feel like that's where I'm meant to stop. And I thank Chris and the Creator and my spiritual mentors and Chris and his. And if you enjoy this content, please do like and subscribe. I'm about ready to lose my voice, sorry. And make sure that you have the notifications bell on. And if all things are not going completely haywire on YouTube, you might get notified. Anyway, thank you so much. And I hope you enjoyed this deep dive on the wonderful and the incredibly talented, beautiful human being of Chris Cornell. Rest in power, my friend.